excited. Someone had referred them, to the program. They just completed their contracting and so forth. What we're looking at is an opportunity to be on the ground floor of an organization that I truly feel that would help to change the way we all look at or think about cancer. As Dr. Clapp is going to talk about when he comes on later, the originating of the actual research around in the early 2000s. But I do feel that this is the early stages of really attacking cancer back instead of always being in a position to where cancer attacks you. So with that, the opportunity that we have as healthcare advocates is to go out, spread the news. Quite a few people are not familiar or not aware of what genetic cancer testing can do. They don't really hear that in the circles that they're in, and sad, but they're not really hearing that from their doctors as well. So as a healthcare advocate, you're going to be very important, very instrumental in getting this information out to the public so it can help people. All of us have been touched by cancer in one way or another. My father passed of cancer about 8 years ago. So we all have a risk. We all are concerned. And so this is the way that I feel that this is the start. If we can identify the gene, which is what they've done, now that gene can be identified. Just because the gene is identified, just because the person has a particular gene that can mutate into cancer, again, it does not mean that they will get cancer. It just simply means that their risks are higher than the individual that does not have the gene. So hopefully in the future there's going to be some real targeted medications, some real targeted researches. In my mind, I fantasize about they're able to go in and zap that gene and just destroy it. It disappears. So therefore it's never there. There's some lifestyle risks, of course, when it comes to cancer. But this is our product. This genetic cancer test is our bullet that we have to go out and to spread the word to the community. It's also our instrument that can bless us as well. When you look at doing anything, whether it's working at, Walmart or some corporation, you look at what is it that you're actually doing. Are you putting parts together? Are you repairing cars, helping people keep rolling? So it's a service. And so what I do like about this entire platform is that we are providing an excellent service to the community. It's also something that can earn you a great income. What I would like to do is go through the steps of the sale. So in case the guys that are new, that are wondering exactly what you're going to be doing, this is what you're going to be doing. This is called the steps to the sale. So the first thing is that knowing you have an awesome product, an awesome service that you can educate people and help people with, you will go into your community. When you go into your community, you're going to meet with, let's say, churches, different associations. The market, our target market for this product, for the platform, is Medicare. Medicare only, for those of you that are in the Medicare Advantage business or MAPD business and things of that nature, but it's Medicare. And it's also TRICARE. TRICARE is retired military, not VA, not guys that have been into the 4 or 5 or 6 years and have a disability and then they're out of the military. That's the VA benefits. TRICARE are the people that retired from the military and they're not active duty, retired military personnel. That's TRICARE. So that's our target, Medicare only and TRICARE. We do have other areas that we're going to move into, such as Medicaid, commercial, things of that nature, but not right now. We're going to have a hands full with this. So you're going to go into the community. You're going to meet with senior citizen, rec centers, churches, associations, whether it's bingo. You might even host events for senior citizens or for Medicare beneficiaries or for TRICARE members. You could be at walks, runs, things of that nature where you're out, where people can look at what you're talking about, maybe look at some of your videos, look at some of your literature. You're going to explain what the actual test does, what the actual test can do for these groups of people. At this point, you might have some hands that go up and say, I am interested in, the program. I would like to get, qualified or pre-qualified for the test. And there's several ways you're going to get to that particular conclusion. Well, let's say that you do have your client in front of you. What you will do is verify. So here are the steps. You will verify their insurance information. So they say they have Medicare. They say they have TRICARE. You're going to have a system where you can verify that. Once you verify that, you will go to the pre-qualifying questions to make sure that they're pre-qualified for the actual genetic test, which is having a personal history, have had cancer or presently have cancer, whether it's a family history of cancer, the type of cancer, and the family member that has had the cancer and the age of the onset, which basically means the age that the cancer was diagnosed. At this point, once you have those details together, you will contact our call center. The call center will verify on a recorded line. They will go down the same steps with you. They're going to check to see if you've gotten their doctor's name, address, and phone number, because you would need that as well. If you have verified that they have certain benefits and that the benefits are covered under our program, you'd verify that. You'd verify the pre-qualification factor, whether it's personal history of cancer, family history of cancer, and the type of cancer and the onset. Once you verify that, that's like a checklist that they're going to have. Then they will connect you to the telemedicine doctors. Our telemedicine doctors or Medicare-approved doctors in the state that that client will be in. So these are not just random doctors that we have off the street. These are doctors that are approved to do consults with Medicare beneficiaries and TRICARE beneficiaries. So you're going to connect them to the doctor. The doctor's job is to go through the actual assessment, the questionnaire form with the client. If it's deemed that it's medically necessary for the client to have the cancer test, then the client will approve the actual test. That is called a rec form. The doctor will fill out the rec form and sign it. Now at this point, what you would do as a healthcare advocate, you'd have your gloves, your cleaning materials for your hands. Now, the client can actually do the cheek swab on themselves, or you can do the cheek swab for your client, and you would do the cheek swab at that point. We are going to show you the details on how to do that as well. And once you conduct the cheek swab, you bag that up, ship it in, and it comes into the lab. Once the samples are in the lab will again, the third time, verify benefits. This is very important. So we have 3 verification processes. The lab will verify benefits. Once that's done, the lab will then conduct the test. That's going to take some days, approximately 10 days. The pay cycle is every 2 weeks, so the 15th and the 30th, or let's say the 15th and the end of the month, or the first of the month. All of the samples that you have submitted that have been approved, that have been ran, that would be the block that you'd be paid on every 2 weeks. So it's not, okay, you've turned in, let's say, 20 samples within that 2-week period of time, and it's not that you're going to get paid on all 20 of those. It all depends on if all 20 of those samples has gone through the process that I've just mentioned. So you might turn some in at the last day before like on the 14th. Well, the 14th, they would not have been processed. So I just want to make that clear so people don't think, oh, I've turned in 20 of them and I only got paid on 15. It's the time frame that they've been approved and been ran and been verified. That's going to be your pay period. for those tests. And so that is awesome. That is a gift that Dr. Clapp is giving us through the lab. Because initially, if you were on the calls 3 weeks ago, we would have had to given up half of our commission in order to get that money up front like that. So that's a huge benefit. Those are the steps. Now, one of the things that we're putting in place is a marketing tool. There are lots of rules, regulations, do's and don'ts, and guidelines to this program. These do's and don'ts, these guidelines, these compliance issues, they're not items that you could come close to or dance around or occasionally adhere to and not adhere to. These are items and guidelines that you have to follow very strict. You're going to hear different individuals talk about the things that we can do and things that we, can do. There are some items on the website on the do's and don'ts that's there for you. It's general basic things like you can't dress up as a doctor or a nurse when you're not. We're not trying to deceive people and make them think that we're some type of a medical profession, and we're not. So there are other things like we are not ever going to pay anyone to do a test. You're not going to even pay people to even drive people to your location, like on a taxi cab, to do a test. You cannot pay a doctor any amount of money. You cannot even entertain that conversation. The answer is no. The answer is no. You can provide donuts and juice, refreshments, things like that for an actual meeting. That's okay. But you cannot give anyone $1 to take the test. No amount of money, period. That's very important. The marketing tool that you're going to have is geared around solicitation. And I think it's an awesome tool. The way that would work is that would be a link that would be linked to you. Basically, that's going to be a presentation that you would be able to give. Let's call her Ruth. Ruth says that she wants to do the swab, and she does the swab. Once you're done with Ruth, you can give, and actually you should actually put Ruth in that system, which will verify that Ruth has seen a compliant presentation of what the cancer genetic swab is. What I mean by a compliant presentation, Medicare is not paying for these tests just to pay for the test. It's not just like, they have too much money and they want to throw money away. The purpose of the test is to tag the people that do have a gene, to try to tag the gene to prevent it from mutating. So we have genetic counselors that through their primary care doctor are going to work with the people that have a positive gene. And again, it's not to sound scary, guys. It's just to let them know that there is a potential risk, and they should pay attention to that risk. Where those genetic counselors are going to work with these patients on their dieting, their lifestyle, or maybe even some medication that can stop the gene from mutating. So the compliance part of the presentation is things like that. Just because you have a gene does not mean that you're going to get cancer, because a lot of people are saying that we're running around telling people that, if you have a gene, you're going to get cancer. That's not true. So what we're going to do is through that system, that marketing tool, that is going to be able to give them all the facts. So it's not going to be any type of gray area or he said this or she said that. It's going to be documented information in that tool that when they go through it, they will be documented that they went through that presentation, which would have told them exactly the way the program is supposed to be explained. Now, once Ruth is done, Ruth would be able to forward that link on to maybe other family members or other friends or someone else that they think that could benefit from this genetic counsel information, or that maybe want to try to pre-qualify for the actual test. So that could go out to 3 individuals. That can go out to 5 individuals. And then when they complete the actual process of the presentation, when they press submit, all of that data will come back to you. So that's going to be a lead that you're going to have, and you're going to know who these people are their phone numbers, and you'd be able to contact them because that is the lead. They're requesting information from you. You're not soliciting. They can even forward that on, and they can forward it on and forward it on and forward it on. That is something that can actually go viral. This is a lead system, a marketing tool that can actually go viral for you. So every day when you wake up, you know exactly who you need to talk to, exactly where you need to go, and those are your personal leads. That could be huge, but on top of all that, it's a verifiable system that we would be able to show that you guys are not out there just grabbing people on a corner and soliciting to take this test. So that's important, and that's the marketing tool that we're going to have. We have a lot of questions if we have time. I'm going to try to go through some of those, but I do want to allow time for Dr. Clapp to actually present and talk to everybody on the call. The website, one of the things that's happening is that, as I mentioned, we are getting the website ready to track your organizations. I think guys are asking about the size of the organization. Is this person in? Is that person in? So right now, the website is not trackable. We're getting that done. They're in the process of doing that. So what's happening is that occasionally the website, certain tools of the website gets a little messy or is non-functional because they're in the website, working on the website. So I think we was having a little issue with the recruiting, with the registration page of the website and people getting a contract and people paying and stuff like that. But just know that towards the end of this month, the replicatable part of the website, the back office of the website should be available where you can see your team and track your team. So that's going to be there. But for right now, what we have done with the help of a great gentleman in the organization, Brian, we were able to put up on the website. If you go to the website and go to the bar, the navigation bar, you're going to see Pay Now. If you click on Pay Now, that's how you can recruit your guys. What I'm going to do is after the call sometime today, I'm going to send out another marketing piece that's going to have that link that's going to direct you right to that page of the website. So you can send your guys to the website and tell them to go to the navigation bar, click on Pay Now, and that will take them through the entire registration part of it. They'll pay their $50, then they can go back, and then they can sign their contract, fill out the contract and sign it. Then they would go back, and then they can do their W-9. Then they can go back and do the direct deposit form. And then last, they can go and click on the link to start the HIPAA certification test. So all of that is going to be there. It's just not going to be through the registration page. You'd have to click on the navigation bar where it says Pay Now, and that's going to walk you through the entire program. Again, guys, this is a ground floor opportunity. We're in pre-launch, which means things like this happen because we're still working on the site, and so because that happened, we need to tweak things a little bit so you guys can still go on and recruit and still build your teams. As I mentioned, I am going to send out a link that's going to have that information so you can send the actual link to your potential recruit, and when they click on that link, it's going to automatically take them through that particular spot on the website. So you'll be able to function and move as fast as you want to move and build as fast as you want to build. And with that said, what I'd like to do is open the floor up to Dr. Clapp. So Dr. Clapp, if you're out there, Clarence, let me turn it back over to you so you can control that side of it.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, if you would, please, Dr. Clapp, dial *6. You should be able to come on in, sir.
Unmuted. Muted.
Okay, yeah, I said it so you can unmute yourself, sir. So please.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, doing fantastic. Take it away, sir. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. And I've been sitting here listening to what Irving has to say, and I enjoyed the presentation. It seems to be, it seems that Irving has a good grasp on this. He's not going to need me anymore. I just want to let you all know that I've been working very closely with this group, with my laboratories, to make sure that this is going to be a program that is going to have longevity. It is certainly based on every compliance factor that the industry offers. We are not, as a laboratory, I'm a laboratory owner, so you're speaking directly to a principal. I've been doing this for approximately 35 years, so this is not something that I just learned yesterday and just decided yesterday that I wanted to do this. I've been working on this. This is my life. This is what I do. I've probably, over the last 15 to 20 years, processed better than 250,000 hereditary genetic samples myself for clients of mine. So we have considerable experience, number one, in the medical necessity criteria, number two, in the qualification, number three, in the running process reporting and genetic counseling of patients. I think there's not a laboratory in this country that has more experience, knowledge, or certainly has run as many tests as we have in the past 15 years. So you're certainly working with a leader in the industry. I think that first and foremost, what I always stress to people coming into this business is we have a zero tolerance for people and organizations that don't follow the rules. The rules are set by Medicare. The rules are not very restrictive. They're very clear to understand. It's just that I've learned over the years that when people get into this business, they learn very quickly that it's a business where you can make a significant amount of income in a very short period of time, and people tend to naturally get greedy or want to cut corners as a result of it. Let me assure you that if you cut corners, I know about it. I'm the first one to know about it because I see the specimens coming in. I see how they're coded. I know what the medical necessity requirements are. So do all of the people that work for me because we've been doing it for years. And if we see anything that looks suspicious, it'll be rejected. So we have many fail-safes in place.
Unmuted. Muted.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello, Dr. Kraft?
Yes, can
We
anybody hear
can
me?
hear you. Yes,
Okay.
sir, we can hear you.
Okay, so where I was going with this is I want to let you know that, we have a large staff of people. All of my people have been very well trained. We see every sample that comes in. We look for the pre-authorizations, pre-clearances. We validate insurance on every patient. We know when people try to cut corners because for years people have tried to cut corners with us, and we catch it every time. So I encourage each of you as a marketing advocate for the company out there doing this, follow the rules, do it by the book, and you will learn very quickly that this business will have longevity for you, your family, and you'll make a career out of this. This is not something where I think I'm looking for people to do this for the next 3 months, or even that Irving and his people are looking for people to do this for the next 3 months. This is a business. And you're in the business of providing resultant, personalized medicine to patients who really need it. You're doing them a favor, you're doing them good, and you're helping to change their life for the positive. And that's the way I look at this. I look at it as a business, But when you're in the business of healthcare and when you're in the business of patient care, okay, at the end of the day, you sleep well because you know that the results of what you do change people's lives for the better. And I know that makes me sleep better at night, knowing that. Some of you may have the same intent that I do with the same result, but think about this. We get paid really well to do it. So the added bonus on top of being able to sleep and have a good conscience about the service you're providing is that we get paid really well to do this if we do our job right. If we do our job wrong and we get greedy and we start to cut corners, you're going to find that your business will shrink. You're going to find that you're going to get a very high rejection rate on your samples. And the ultimate result of that is if it's not profitable for my lab, then I cut the program. And nobody, I think, wants that to happen. But it's unfortunate that I always find that in a group of people, there's a very small percentage of those people that tend to abuse the privilege of being able to do this, and it can take down an entire organization. So this is kind of just a general warning out there to everyone. Do this by the book. Do it the right way. If you're not doing it the right way, I catch it every time. There's no way we can be fooled. No way. I've been doing this way too long. I created this. These tests are tests that I developed, not tests that I inherited. So you're actually speaking to somebody this is my baby. Okay, so when anybody tries to feed my baby something, okay, I know what my baby likes and doesn't like. Okay, and I can spot it right away. We have systems in place to do that. So I'll let that go because I'm gonna move forward here with the assumption, and I know assumptions are bad, but with the assumption that everybody is coming into this business with good intentions to do it the right way and to make money and provide positive outcomes for patients to change their lives so that they can live better. I don't know what else everyone wants me to speak about relative to the program, but I can tell you this. We are very successful at doing this. I already have better than 500 people that work for me in the field as distributors. My average distributor makes about $50,000 a month doing this. I have some people that make 7 figures a month doing this. And these people have been doing this for better than 10 years. So in a very small instance, you can be out there and you could be doing this program in 1 or 2 good areas, and it's not hard to make $50,000 a month doing this. In fact, many of my guys that make $50,000 a month probably work 20 hours a month doing this, and that's it. If you're diligent and you work 20 hours a week, you should be able to make 5 times that. So the opportunity here is to really significantly make an exceptional amount of money if you do this, and you do it right. So I encourage all of you to get in with the program, learn what the rules are, and we'll provide all the tools. We'll provide you the education. We'll provide you the training. We'll show you how to collect these samples. We'll show you what's needed to be coded. We'll show you what the medical eligibility is for each patient. It's your job to just take the information we give you and pass it on. If you do that, you'll be successful. And that's all we ask you to do is don't tell anybody anything that's not in front of you that you have in writing. There's no need to create a story or to create something that's fabulous about this because the product sells itself. Everybody wants to know if they have a history of cancer. Everybody wants to know because they think they're going to die. Okay, and the idea of this test is not to tell people whether they're going to die or not. Okay, the idea of this test is to let people know that they carry a gene that has a potential to mutate based upon family history and other characteristics that could potentially give them a percentage of getting cancer at some age going forward. And the object of this is to let them know that they possess this gene possibly and that it could possibly mutate. So the next role that you provide to them is a tool and a report that they can bring to their primary care physician and discuss a preventative health care plan with their physician on how they could move forward and change their life. Get frequent breast exams. It could be a change of diet with this information once it's provided. So all you're really doing is providing the patient with the tool to go to their primary care physician and get enrolled in a program that will alleviate them from increasing their chances for cancer. I guess I'll just open it up for questions.
Dr. Clapp, are you wanting to open?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, I'm here.
I have one question.
Sure.
Where is the lab located?
I have several labs. The labs that these tests are going to be going
I'm sorry. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I can hear.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to take questions right now because we're going to have 100 of them.
Okay.
We're not going to take questions right now. I'd like to thank Dr. Clapp for that very elaborate explanation of his background, his lab, and the benefit and the awesome opportunity that we have. As he mentioned toward the end, was the fulfillment side of this program, of the actual test, is when the data goes back to their primary care doctor. When the data goes back to the primary care doctor, that's very important because that's when their primary care doctor would have the opportunity to make an appointment with their client, bring them in to go over the data. That's going to be submitted in their EMR, the medical records. So it's going to be trackable that way. And also, that's when if they have an issue with a gene, that the genetic counselors are going to be brought in to assist with the client and working with some type of, long-term or short-term strategy as far as habits, lifestyle, diet change, and maybe even medication at that point to stop any type of mutation from occurring. So that's the fulfillment side. That's the back side. So it's very important for everybody to know that we're just not out here. Of course, we can make a lot of money by doing this as a healthcare advocate, but by providing the information, by the lab giving the results, that can loop back around to their primary care doctor, and that's information that is usable. It's usable in the prevention of cancer. The goal of Medicare is to ultimately control the utilization cost of dealing with cancer. Utilization is simply the cost associated with if a person comes down with cancer, chemotherapy, and things of that nature. I know quite a few people on the call that I am aware of. I know Pastor D has had a cancer situation. Other individuals have. I'm pretty sure most of us have had a situation with cancer. And so this simply gives all of us a fighting chance back, a way to punch back at cancer. And so what I'd like to do now, I think we have some time. What I would like to do is to bring on Sharifa McConnell. She is my right-hand girl. She's my general. She is the person. She's the gatekeeper. She's the one that makes sure that everybody has a heart when it comes to representing this program. So if you can take the call back, Clarence, and go ahead and bring Sharifa online so she can address everybody.
Good morning, everyone out there. Hey, I just want to make sure that you guys recognize once again that they have a phenomenal opportunity, not just before us, but actually an opportunity to work with you as well. So I just want to say, how proud I am of you all and how I definitely appreciate Mr. Gilbert and as well as Dr. Clapp. Compliance is definitely a must here. So I see some questions coming up on the board about is this a fraud, or how do we know that this is a scam? And so we can definitely address those measures, because that's the last thing that I want going on here is the fact that those of you out there that are posting messages that this is a fraud. If you've been listening to the call, if you've been on the calls, if you've been following the whole entire process, if you listen to Dr. Clapp, if you listen to Irving, then you would know, along with extensive research. So basically, Dr. Clapp and Irving, if you would, I would like for us to make sure that we put the heads on that right away. And from now on in the future, if you have questions or comments, things of that nature, do us a favor and send that privately. That's key here, because the last thing that we want is people to come on board with us and feel as though, or, if they're in on the call and seeing that this is a negativity. We're still in the pre-launch phase. So it's totally unnecessary. And I do believe and understand having questions, sincere questions, and just seeking out information. But when you start making posts and saying that this is a fraud, we have a problem with that. So I'll go ahead and turn it back over to you, Irvin.
Okay, thank you. I was asked that question by several guys. I think one of the pastors in Dallas asked me a question. And then because they were involved with another organization that actually, I guess they took some samples or something and never paid them and skipped town and changed their name and the whole 9 yards. And so one of the things that I mentioned to the pastor was that if this whole thing was a fraud, we wouldn't care how you guys got the sample. We wouldn't care if you were HIPAA certified. We wouldn't care if you had a marketing tool that marketing tool is going to cost us a lot of money. We wouldn't care if you had that marketing tool, because we'll just be out for you just to go out there and get your friends and families and swab them. We wouldn't care about paying for a teledoctor service, because all we're trying to do is have you swab about 50 people apiece and get all those swabs back in the lab and have the lab pay us, and then we skip town and take your money. So we wouldn't care about a lot of the compliance issues, the processes that need to be in place, involved to prove that you guys are compliant. We wouldn't care about that. We're just simply, hey, go out there and swab everybody you see, everybody you find, send it in, and we'll pay you, and then we don't pay you. And so when I mentioned that, I went over that with the pastor. He was like, you're right. He's like, because you guys are going through way too many steps. It would just be some type of fraudulent program. And the people that are saying that, I've read some of the blogs and so forth, and the people are just absolutely wrong on what they were saying. Apparently they've never heard our calls, because we're not doing things the way even they were talking about that's on the blog. So we are going to have haters. We are going to have people within our organizations that are, that are even not going to do things appropriately. And that's one of the things Dr. Clapp touched on, is the fact that you cannot fool him. And on top of that, now Dr. Clapp is educating me on some of the things that needs to be in place for this size of a team. So on top of that, we're having programs in place that it's going to be hard for you to go out and do the wrong things, because we are going to record it on a recorded line. You are going to have that tool which is going to track the people that you talk to and that the people that you're seeing, because they're going to have a compliant presentation. So you're not going to have a situation where someone says, you're just out telling everybody, it doesn't matter if they have any history of cancer or a personal history of cancer, they can go ahead and get tested. No, because that person is going to have to show up in your marketing tool, and in your marketing tool, your marketing tool is going to explain the appropriate presentation and details for the clients. So that's the reason why we have that in place. So we have things that are in place to stop fraudulent people that have, some people that have bad intentions as far as to what they're going to do in the field and how they're going to do that in the field. And so those are things that we have in place for that. Okay, I'm sorry. And with that said, let's see, it's about 10:50, so we're almost ready to wrap up. Let's see. I'm reading some of the questions that are coming across. I'd like to also thank some of the leaders that are out there. We don't have time to bring you guys on, but I'd just like to thank you for the awesome job that you're doing as far as building your teams and making sure your teams are we're trying to make everything as far as consistent with, there's, Jesus, I'm trying to think of the gentleman's name. There's a group. Okay, now, those of you that are having conference calls with your groups, what I would like to know in advance is the time and date that you're having these calls, because I would need to know exactly, how you're teaching your organization or the things that you're saying to your organization to make sure that we're all saying the same thing. So one of the most important things about growing to the size that we're growing is that we're all saying the same thing. And so there was an organization that had conference calls the previous week. I did listen to the call. Everything went great. It was a beautiful call. That's fine. What I would like to know moving forward is if you do plan to have your own conference calls, to notify us, send an email, give us the time and date and the individual that's hosting the call so we can reach out and talk to you guys. Maybe even, you don't have to, myself or Sharif or other leaders don't necessarily have to be on the call with you guys, but we need to know what's being said because this is very important. So other groups that are building organizations that are pretty large, we understand you might want to talk to your team a little bit more frequently than twice a week. We get it. Just give us a call. Let us know the time and the date of your call. And let's see. Also, there's leaders that we have out here that's doing a great job. I know I'm not going to be able to name all of you guys because it seems like from week to week we have a new person that's recruiting and that's walking the walk and talking the talk. But I would like to recognize Stan Williams out of Houston, Texas. Stan was one of the original guys that started with us, and he's doing an awesome job. And I'd like to recognize Stan. Pastor Daly out of San Antonio. We have Stephanie Williams in Atlanta. We have Chris McFarland. Chris McFarland has a nice organization. They're out of Colorado. And we have a lot now. Florida, you guys, I think Florida, Georgia, and Houston and San Antonio, we have an awful lot of people coming in from those states. We have Hawaii. Welcome to, I think we have a group that's starting in Hawaii. Let's see. We have other organizations. I know I don't have all you guys' names right now. There's quite a few of you, to tell you the truth. But I want to thank you guys for the awesome job that you're doing. I know that you have your leader packs. What I would like to do is to make sure that we're all saying it doesn't have to be the exact same thing. We're going to all have our different flavors. But I would like to make sure that we're having the core message of your actual calls are the same. Now, we do have organizations that are from multi-level marketing groups and stuff like that. I really do not want organizations trying to solicit the guys that are in our organization to be in their organization. Now, here's, like I've said before about multi-level marketing, I think you guys understand how I feel about that. But here's one of the things that kind of upsets me about multi-level marketing. It's everybody is trying to get everybody else to do what they're doing, regardless of how much money they're making. The program that we have, look at it as a job. It is not multi-level marketing. Look at this as a job. So if you had 100 people that needed a job and they needed to make $3,000 this next 2 weeks or a month, would you introduce them to some new multi-level marketing program that they can try to go out and get somebody to pay $400 or $300 to sign up? Or would you have them into something like this that where they can go out themselves and talk to one person a day and make $700 and be paid on that in 2 weeks? Guys, this is a job. This is a job. Now, for an individual that has an opportunity like this, that can go out and each day at least make $700, why in the world would you want to consider doing something else that maybe you're not going to make nothing in a month or nothing in 6 months, or you have to try to convince people to make a decision to pay in a car note versus joining another program? So I'm kind of confused by that. That's one of the reasons why I really don't like, when people talk about multi-level marketing, because traditionally in multi-level marketing, you're not really out there doing any type of a job. You're just trying to recruit people. And that's not what this program is about. This program is about going out into the community, helping people, educating people. If you have the ability to build a team, build a team. If you don't have the ability to build a team, just go ahead and make yourself $15,000 to $20,000 a month on your job and pay your bills and take care of your family and have a great lifestyle. So I really don't think the guys that are trying to get other people to do other things through our organization are going to be successful. You'd have to be very small-minded to walk away from something that you can actually have a job making $700 a day to go and join something that, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff out there. So if we have other organizations that are for multi-level marketing organizations, that's fine. Just understand that this program is about helping people. It's not about trying to recruit people and not do any work. This program is about controlling your income and controlling how much money you make so you can bless yourself and your family. At the same time, the one element that is similar is that you can build a team. We've done that, which will give you the option to build your own team, basically to have your own business, to get to the point where you're managing people or you're managing other individuals or teams and so forth, and then, so on and so on. So that's a gift that we've given. It just could have been, hey, this is just an opportunity for you to just make your $700 per test, and that's it. So don't try to abuse that. We've tried to keep this program so it's very affordable so anyone can do it. That's why there's no upfront charge of $300. That's why it's no monthly cost of $100 or $200. This is something that we're trying to give everybody an opportunity to be successful, at the same time bless people. With that, it is approximately 10:58 Central Time. What I want to do is turn it back over to the moderator so he can go ahead and close it out. Again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in on our Saturday morning call. It's very important to roll out the information that we have, to tell the new guys that are coming in how important it is to stay compliant, and to tell the guys that's been with us for the past 3.5 weeks, almost 4 weeks, which is the time frame that we've just started. We're in pre-launch, to let you guys know what to expect. And with that said, the samples and the pre-qualifying questions are things that I'm kind of holding to my vest real close until we get to the point that we're ready to roll it out to you. There's a reason why we're doing that, because not everybody's want to do things the proper way. So we want to hold things tight so you guys just can't go out and run around and start saying things that are not true. But we are going to have a way to get the samples to you overnight. You will have the pre-qualifying questions so you know what to ask the people and how to qualify the people. So, Clarence, if you can, just go ahead and take it away, close it out. Again, thank you guys very much.